Why was that
is
topic allowed to be in you guys' history book?
Yeah. Well, I know it's history,
Right.
but why would it? Why is that so inappropriate for school?
You think that talking about the KKK,
People getting killed and stuff in a book.
discrimination and racism should not be talked about in
School.
School?
No.
And why do you feel that way?
Because it's talking about other people getting killed and groups of people who don't. Well, that's it, really.
Okay, so you're troubled by the idea that talking about people getting killed should not be in a history book.
Yes. No, it should be in a history book, but not in like a book that you're
in school.
In school, yeah.
So that means pretty much the whole book you don't agree with, right? Because
just stuff like that in the book.
But that's a part of history, right?
Yeah.
That's a part of African American history. That's a part of the history of our country. So you can't neglect the fact that it happened in this country. We still have to talk about it because it still goes on now, just like it went on back then, years ago, right? It's still going on. So we still have to talk about it. And you still have to learn about it because it's your history as an African American. So the reason why I'm asking you these questions is because Mom didn't, okay, this might sound, I don't know if this sounds bad, but Mom didn't realize that our country had, okay.
No, tell me what you're
I am. I'm trying to explain it in a way that you can understand what I'm saying. So now that we have a president that has said things or did things that was inappropriate or that have now got Trump as our president, it has taken us back to the point where
he's taken us back to where there was like slavery.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. The reason why I'm having this conversation is because before you didn't have to see on a TV where, the KKK is coming out and they're starting to attack blacks or African Americans or us as people. They're starting to attack us, and, police brutality. You didn't have to see that. And Mom did not have to see that, for a while. Like, I didn't have to see that. And so I assumed that our country was making great strides to do better than that, and it was changing, and people were changing, and people were starting to accept other people. But the fact is that we are reverting back to the days of the Ku Klux Klan, where they were just prominent, and then they were just going around and they were beating people and they were doing, hateful and mean things and being racist towards African Americans. So we're now back at that stage. So I have to talk to you as you being an African American boy about these things. And so that's why Mom wanted to have this conversation, right? When you brought it up to me, like, read this, when you came in the door and said, read this book, what you wanted me to read, it made me want to sit down and have a conversation with you. That's the only reason why. I'm just like, so how, what do you think? How do you feel about this stuff? Properly relay it to you. Does he like the KKK?
His dad was in it.
I don't know that. I don't know if his dad was in the KKK. I don't know that. But I don't know if he likes the KKK or not because I'm not in his head, so I don't know what he agrees with. But I know the things he has said thus far with the the KKK, the rallies and everything that's been going on. Well, some people think that he hasn't really stepped up and said that he disassociates himself from the KKK properly, right? So if he doesn't properly denounce himself and say, hey, I don't agree with these people do not stand for what I believe in, and I will not allow them to do these things or tolerate the actions of the KKK in this country. If he doesn't stand up and say that, then one can only assume that he agrees with it. To firmly say, hey, I don't agree with this, and stand on it. That's the only way somebody can come to a conclusion that he doesn't agree with it. But I mean, he has said that he has denounced them in his own way, and some might not agree with the way he did it, and some might. So it's all in how somebody perceives what someone else says. You want to watch the news?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before we watch the news, can we just go over one other thing about how you say that you didn't understand that you were African American?
Is that what? Are you saying that's racist?
No, I'm not saying it's racist. I'm saying that I can understand that because it's kind of confusing because you're 9 and having you're 9, so you don't know the difference between, being black, being white, being Hispanic, being Asian, being, you don't know all of that stuff in between. You're not taught all that. You don't just naturally grow up and know that stuff. You have to be taught those things. And it's okay if you did not know that right now. That's fine. We have to have that conversation. And I thought I communicated it to you before, but I guess I didn't. And so the reason why I say that you are an African American boy, even though you have a Caucasian dad, is because the world will look at you as an African American boy, right? You have dark skin or you have brown skin, right? And people associate brown skin, this part of your skin, right? Right? So people will people will see you or view you as an African American boy because you have dark skin, right? But that doesn't negate the fact that your dad is Caucasian. In our eyes, you are a mixed boy, right? Because your dad's Caucasian and your mom's black. But in society's eyes, you will always be considered a black boy because you have dark skin and you have a black mother.
So were we gonna say we had to go over one more thing?
That's it. I just want you to understand that. I just want you to understand who you are in this world. You are an African American boy. You are a black boy. And you will be considered or viewed as a black boy because of your dark skin and because your mom being African American or of African descent. But like I said, it doesn't take away that your dad is Caucasian, but you have your dad in you.
What's wrong with him being Caucasian?
Nothing's wrong with him being Caucasian. Nothing at all. It's a part of you, and nothing's wrong with you, right? So nothing's wrong with him being Caucasian. It's just that you have dark skin. So people equate dark skin with being black. So you will always be considered a black boy. And there's nothing wrong with you being a black boy. Being a black boy is a very, very good thing. And being a white boy is a very, very good thing. But because of your skin color, you will always be considered as being a black boy. Okay? Right? And so I guess at the end of the day, you guys, now you'll start to learn, like when you see stuff on the news about the KKK, now this is a good time for you to start learning about these issues, right? Because you're seeing it on the news and stuff like that.
Can we watch the news?
We can watch the news. Wait, you heard what?
I heard that there's this one guy who didn't stand for the national anthem. You can get killed in other places by not standing for that.
You mean like in different countries?
Yeah.
But the thing is, okay, he could do that because you're not in America. It's his right to do that because it's kind of like a freedom of speech. Like if he doesn't want to do something, by this being a free country, he doesn't have to do it. That's his choice if he doesn't want to do it. But you're right, in other countries, you could get in trouble or be condemned for not doing it.
And if you cheat like Uno in other countries and stuff like that, you can get your hand chopped off. Yeah, burn it.
So do you know why he's burning it?
No.
Super Bowl quarterback Colin Kaepernick still on the sidelines for what he called.
So you don't know why he's burning it, right?
People of color and for civil rights.
Listen.
As for this protest,
we respect our players.
So Colin Kirkpatrick or whatever, just like they said, the reason why he did not get down, he does not. Kaepernick. He protests. He is standing up for the rights of African American people, or the civil rights of African American people. For him to salute to the flag or the country, he doesn't agree with that because he feels like the lives or the rights of African American people is not being valued in this country.
So what does that mean?
So it means that, you know, how police brutality, black people, black men, black women are being killed in major numbers in this country now. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like that. He's upset and he's saddened by those things happening. So he won't salute to a flag or to a country that doesn't stand up for him and his rights, or the rights of African Americans, or the rights of his people. But that guy that burned his jersey are kind of like protesting against him. So, okay, you're not going to stand for the flag, then I don't stand for you. So that's why he burned his jersey, because he doesn't stand for the Colin Kirkpatrick, whatever. He doesn't stand for the country, and the guy doesn't stand for him because he doesn't stand for the country.